Hello everyone and welcome. This is Dom in Space, episode 4. We are currently orbiting the moon, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to shoot for the moon today. This is actually my first test. There's Kerbin, here's the moon. We're going to do it. This is my MUN space probe, or my MUN probe. It has solar panels. I unlock those in between episodes. So that's basically what I've been doing. I've been unlocking new stuff. Here's some new tanks I unlocked as well. And this is actually, I think, the fourth time I've tried to record this specific one. So we're going to do that. So before I do that, I'm going to show you how I've been getting a lot of my science. I've been exposing this and kind of transmitting it back. Transmit data. Boop, boop, boop. And we're actually in an orbit around the moon right now. I can land if I have enough fuel, but I don't really plan on doing that this specific episode. So I've been getting kind of data that way, and I've been getting all of my electric charge back from the sun itself through these solar panels. So I don't really have to worry about bringing lots of batteries with me, even though I did. Cool. Space Center. So we're going to go ahead and shoot for the moon today. Shooting for the moon. That's today's plan. I think what we're only going to be able to do is build a manned flight. Actually, that's what I really wanted to do, and I've done it ahead of time. I actually did it last time I tried to record this. This is our design with all the parts we unlocked. Not all of them, but lots. And I'll kind of explain what's going on here. I put some solar panels on our last cloud lab, and we're actually going to go to the moon with the cloud lab this time. Here we go. Everything down. These are new fuel tanks. They're basically just two of the small ones combined. There's really no difference. These right here are just stabilizers for whenever we are on the launch pad, so I don't have to worry about holding myself up anymore. And this little yellow thing right here is actually an extremely important device. It allows me to pull the fuel from these boosters into this one. And there's also another set from these boosters to this one. So the cool part is I'm actually not using any fuel from this booster while these ones are attached or still have fuel in them. I'm not using any fuel from these boosters, the center ones, while these ones are still attached. So that's a really cool part. So we actually are going to be dumping off dead weight as we don't need it anymore, which is really nice. So this is what I used last time I recorded this, and we're actually going to shoot for the moon. It does work. It just didn't like the way I recorded it, I guess. Had problems with my audio. So we're going to shoot for the moon and do a nice, show you guys how to get to the moon and how to make an orbit around it. We're actually not going to land today. So as I showed you, we're kind of being supported by these struts here. We are going to be taking off at night though, so I do apologize for the darkness. You will be able to see as much as possible though. So I'm going to pull up my throttle, which I already have. Push T for my SAS there, so I don't have to worry about falling over. It will always point the direction I go. Push my space bar, and Jebediah and I are on the way. Cool. So we're going to lift off, and as you can tell, the fuel is going down really, really fast for these smaller ones. They're not really small. But the thing is that all the rockets are using this fuel right now. As you can tell, no fuel is being drained from any of these. So we're going to get up to speed fairly quick and drop off our dead weight. There they go, dropping them off. And now these ones are draining. There we go. We're increasing speed again. And these ones will go a little bit slower because instead of having 7 rockets firing, we only have 4. Oop, it is dark. I'm going to go and wait for this to get to the height I like it at, which is just about 100 kilometers or 100,000 meters. Tip us over a little bit to make it kind of more round. We're just going to be doing this for quite a while. Once we get past these atmospheres, we'll go a little bit faster. The first one we already passed through, this lighter area here. The second one's a little bit longer, but you tend to get through it fairly fast if you have enough speed. And they're actually slowing you down. Not really slowing you down, but reducing how fast you can get up there because of wind resistance. We're just about at the height I like. Right about there. Cool. Cut off my engines. I think I actually ran out of fuel just in time. Yeah, I did. Cool. So we're going to dump off those. There they go. And now we have a almost fully fueled rocket to get us to the moon. Actually, to put us in orbit and then get us to the moon. So we're going to speed up time once we get to 70,000 meters, so 70 kilometers. That's when you're done the atmosphere is done interfering with your rocket flight, so you actually can speed up time without air resistance physics. There we go. 70,000. We're going to get to just about where the apoapsis is and fire our rockets again. There we go. Oop, don't need that. Take this open. Tilt our rocket over and throw us into orbit. Fire our rockets the direction we're going, just like we did last time. I've recorded this so many times, I don't even remember what I said in the last ones by comparison to what I've already covered, all that kind of stuff, so bear with me. So we're firing off our rocket here, and we'll eventually get a nice orbit around Kerbin here. Then we're going to shoot for the moon. I would recommend always doing it this way, just because it's very repeatable doing it in this fashion. And come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Takes forever. One of these fuel tanks is just about empty. Stage only. Yep, we're just about half. Just right about now that top one is empty. I can't eject it because it's all part of the same rocket. But it doesn't matter, we're not going to really need too much of it because we're just going to be passing by the moon, orbiting it, and then that's basically the object of this specific mission. Kind of get there. And cool. That's almost a perfect orbit there. Awesome, I cut off the rockets. So, the next thing we want to do is move our ship with comparison to the moon, if you put it at the top of your screen, to about 4 o'clock. So the moon is there. Our Cloud Lab Mark III will be right about 4 o'clock, right around here, with the comparison to that. So let's go ahead and speed up time. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Move our capsule over a little bit. Boop, boop. And there we are, just about 4 o'clock with respect to the moon. It's kind of like horseshoes and hand grenades. You don't have to be completely perfect. So we're going to go ahead and tip our ship over, and I wanted to show you guys what it looked like in the sun here. I know you've seen similar ones, but I love looking at it in a good view. Come on, tip over. Thank you. Cool. We're going to go ahead and fire our rockets in the direction we're facing to pull out this orbit to as far out as we can possibly get it. It's going to start increasing its extension speed a little bit faster the farther out it gets. Basically becomes more sensitive. So I'm going to throttle down just a little bit slowly every once in a while. And this, I have it set, this resource is set to stage only, just so I'm not looking at the fuel for the actual Cloud Lab, because we have a rocket on there with a little bit of fuel, just in case. And pull it down even more. As you can tell, I'm really low throttle, and it's still moving fairly quick out there. Okay, cool. This is what I was looking for. I'm gonna let it go just a little bit further. Cool. Basically, once you get within another orbital body and you're going to be influenced by its gravity, you have this setup. Blue is the current path you're on. Orange will be your intersection of that body whenever you're within its gravity pull. And the purple will be your exit what happens whenever you exit the gravity of that orbital body. So we are going to speed up until we get to this orange part there, and I wouldn't recommend going any faster than 1,000 times speed, just so you don't overshoot, because that's really, really fast, what I just did there. But, because when you overshoot, you tend to basically ruin your whole mission. So we're just about within influence, and yes we are, there we go. The current blue path goes away, and then your exit will happen here, and then you'll go on this orbital body, which is actually the Earth. So you can have a lot of orbital body influences. They're all different colors. Blue is the current one, orange is the next, purple is the one after it, kind of thing. So we're going to move to the periapsis here of this flight with respect to the moon. And we're going to slow our orbit around it down, so we can actually orbit it. So we are going to move towards move our pointy end, sorry, our rocket end, towards the direction that we're not going, so we can fire our rocket off. There we go, as you can tell on the ball down here. Just a little bit and it will slowly collapse, and there we are. We are now captured by the moon and not influenced by Kerbin at all. I'm going to pull this down just a little bit more. So we are, there we go. Pull it down even more. Get down to the other side and maybe even more than that. 300 sounds pretty good. Cool. So here we are. We are now orbiting the moon, and we're going to have a far orbit and a close orbit. Crew report. Surface of the moon. Try to find a good landing space. The inside of the craters must be the best option. Might be the best option. That's cool. We're going to transmit it back. I actually already did this. I tried to record this before. So a lot of these science data values are going to be a lot lower. Oop, that's a bad idea. We're going to board. I learned from the last video. Promise. Upright. Upright. There we go. Now we can do an EVA. Boop. Record your observations. Keep data. And then we'll do F. Cool. And we will transmit those as well. Awesome. So that's basically how you get in an orbit around the moon. I don't plan on landing this episode. Actually, next episode I have a plan that I want to do. We're going to go around to the dark side of the moon now. Great song, by the way. Anyways, album. Can't use my brains today. Okay, we're on the dark side of the moon. We are just under 300, so see if we get any different data here. Oop. Oop, we gotta slow our time down. Look down at the cold gray surface. It looks really beat up with craters. Keep data. Let's see what happens if I do an EVA here. Nope. And we'll get back in. Not really worth it, but we might as well send it back. The probe, which is currently orbiting, and I'll show you, this guy right here, he goes between a close orbit, very close, and basically a farther away. So he actually gets two sets of data, and I did that purposefully. There's a near the surface and a away from the surface data set. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of data collections here, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, welcome back. I have been just collecting some data, you know, sending it back with those what the heck are those things called? Those transmitters and stuff like that. So what I need to do is get a lot of science. And that's what I'm going to be doing in between episodes. I know this episode is about 15 minutes long already, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of cut it short here. I'm going to show you all the stuff I unlocked in between episodes. I got solar panels, lights, more, what are these things called? Rechargeable batteries, We got a bunch of that structure stuff. We have those stability things, radial decouplers, stacked tri-coupler. Basically goes 3 to 1, so 3 rockets to 1 rocket. Let's see, what's this here? Fuel tank. Sorry, the large fuel tanks, we already used those today. The yellow fuel duct, which is really cool. And we got our monopropellant stuff, which is extremely useful. I'll show it when we start building our space station, which is actually going to be in the next episode. The space station will be used as soon as I can get this research, our science up to 160. I'm going to be getting this specialized construction, and we'll build a space station best we can. I would love to have these for the space station, but we can always add to the space station slowly. I just want to have this hitchhiker storage container and these, where are they at? There it is. The docking ports. Those are the most important parts of this space station, so that we can actually dock with the space station and then basically add to it as best as we can to multiple parts, all different cool stuff. So that's kind of the plan for next episode, is to start our space station construction. The space station is going to be useful for conducting experiments, so we'll bring up new experiments to it as we unlock them. For example, like the thermometer, the barometer, and those kinds of things. I know it's not really useful, but we can bring stuff up to it, and we can even have that'll be our first kind of experience with creating a space station. We'll do it around Kerbin, and then we might do one around the moon, and then a couple more around other planets, just so our Kerbonauts have some sort of space to go whenever they go to a planet. And then we'll even work on making a moon base in the future as well. So I think that's the next thing that we really want to do, is work on that. We can, ooh, that's cool. We have unlocked a bunch of parts, and we're going to use them to our advantage in the near future. So in the next episode, we're going to be building very nice lift vehicles to get our very bulky space station up to orbit around Kerbin. So that's the plan. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.